Inzoi, a brand new live sim, is set to be released into early access the 28th of March, and they just announced a huge bomb, a massive change for the whole genre, and if they pull this off correctly, that's gonna be huge. For context, they just announced that they're partnering with Nvidia and the AI tools of Nvidia to bring the bestest ever sims or simulated people in a game. But what that means, we'll talk about in a second. Just for the context, I've played this game already over 50 hours during a playtest last year. I've done mostly everything. I tested all the career options. I built a Star Destroyer home. Yes, I did. I also built a couple of tree houses, similar houses, and just played a whole bunch of this game. I was also lucky enough to meet the lead dev Kyun at Gamescom 20 and 24, and we talked about a whole bunch of things, and I'm lucky and happy to say that one of the things we talked the most about actually will make it in game. More about that while we go through all the updates, because there have been a lot more updates than only the Nvidia announcement. But apparently we are starting with the big one. The Smart Zoe update, or the Nvidia Corporation, is a big, huge thing. One of the biggest criticism has been that the gameplay was a bit dull and the decision making of the Zoes was relatively simple and not really in-depth. Despite the fact that Kyun already mentioned this is going to be overhauled, he certainly did hold back with the big news and now dropped it finally also onto the Discord. Now you can see there is going to be a lot involved with this update. The Zoes will be actually AI driven. They will, after each day, reconsider what they have done. They re-evaluate all the meetings they had and all the different appointments they had, and also obviously the talks and discussions they had with you. If you're interested, there's a whole crazy description from Kyun on the Discord. I can also very much just suggest to go into the Discord and keep an eye on the Kyun concerns, as they are called. He's dropping all the info there that you will need. But this is obviously a mega thing. This means we are not looking at a kind of programmed AI with a decision tree or anything like that, and which gets more complicated and more involved over time, and obviously very repetitive if you kind of find out what to do. With this update, this means that all the Zoes in your city, including your characters when you're not actively driving them or playing them, will be based on an AI basis, and this is absolutely magnificent. In the past weeks, also Kyun has said there's going to be a lot more AI-driven stuff in this game. They also developed all the AI tools themselves, so the Nvidia partner is the first thing where they use a third-party one, I guess, but using Nvidia at the moment is maybe not the worst shot, to be honest, and this is obviously a update that I'm mega excited about, because that means we are looking at a gameplay that is ever so much more new and flexible and refreshing and also funny. Speaking of funny, I guess this is also why they have been looking into the next chapter, which is crime. We're going to talk about crime in a second, which makes a lot more sense now, knowing that they're going to go on an AI-driven basis. But just as a last couple of words, we obviously have to see how the AI at the end of the day really works, and if it's going to be massively problematic, could also be a thing, or if it's actually going to be as great as it is. They also talked about, obviously, that they will have certain restrictions so that they can't go completely berserk, but I'm so excited to see how that is in play, and I'm so excited to see what kind of approaches you need to create relationships and to make these things, because again, this has been one of the biggest criticisms, that it was all way too easy to get into a relationship, marry and so on, and now you really have to work for it, just as in real life. Really excited for that one. Next up is crime. So in a second you'll see another Discord post from Kyun, and this is the one where they're talking about that they have been looking into crime. Now apparently crime is something they initially didn't want to have in the game, but now they have seen certain things happening in their testing, that certain Zoes were just following a career, so to say, in being a criminal, and they found out to make money just from robbery and so on, and initially they didn't want to have that in game, but now they reconsider that and will keep a certain amount of criminalism of crime in the game to make it even more so much entertaining, but also realistic, how the behavior of Zoes can also shift into that direction. As we all know, in The Sims, being a thief is one of the more liked and loved things to do, I guess, for everyone. You don't do that often, but every single one who's been playing The Sims has followed a career like that, I guess. So very nice to have it, and apparently with the previously mentioned AI update, I'm guessing that this is also something that kind of followed from having the complete AI driven basis in the game. Very excited to see what that will bring, what that will mean for the future of the game, and how many different career options you'll have then. Maybe there will be careers just plopping up after different reconsiderations of Zoe's. Who knows? But I'm very happy that they're keeping it in. I'm not a big fan of limiting things for a, I don't know, product that you want to keep friendly for the sake of it being friendly but not reflecting real life. And as they want to make the best life sim, I guess crime has to be part of it, as much as some people may not like it. Alright, next up are general improvements, and most specifically we're talking about physics, as you can see in this post over here. Again, I'm going to talk about that so you don't have to read all of that. If you're interested, again, go to the Discord and read all of them, just like a wall of text, and I don't want to repeat this in the video. But apparently the tenor of it was that, you know, physics in this game weren't as much accurate as they should be, but they also said this wasn't the focus for the playtest, obviously, and so specifically the car physics was very wonky, and to be honest, that's mainly the reason why I don't have the footage in here. I just tested it a couple of times. It's not really worthy to show. They were drivable, and that's about it, you know. They felt not as an asset that would actually be driving. It felt very weird, but again, I'll give that to them. It was a playtest, but it's good to see that they are looking into these physics and making these things physically more accurate and more fun, because having the chance to, you know, be able to drive a car or also ride a motorbike later on and ride a bike like that will be a lot more fun. And who knows, maybe you can go actively surfing, as we're in a surf shop over here. So these types of physics will make it into the game as well. And seeing how much progress they made over the time already with what they've shown, they always showed some kind of little videos in here, which I'm going to drop in as well, how much it has improved over time already. So seeing that is very nice, and I'm very positively encouraged, so to say that this is going to be a good thing when the game finally goes into early access. And we shall not forget, Kyun also mentioned that the whole game will apparently take about 10 years to reach its finished state that meets the vision they have in the team. And knowing Krafton, they are big, you know, a big company, that they have the power and the staff to do it. So, well, I'm relatively positive. But again, I'm also, you know, carefully positive, because we all know how games in the past 2 years have experienced their launches. So I'm very happy that they're going the way to go into early access and consider the fans' feedback and so on. A much better approach, in my opinion, than trying to go for a full release and then have a lot of people disappointed for missing features or misjudgment of priorities that fans have. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. But let's go to the last update I want to give you, which is exactly the one I have been talking to Kyun about the most, and I'm very happy to say that they found a solution to that. So let's jump into that one. Last but not least, let's talk about time. Well, in this game, I, and also alongside with a lot of other people, found it very, very annoying that the game was very slow and you couldn't skip anything, like if Zoe's anywhere. Due to the fact how the game is built, skipping things isn't possible. However, now there is a setting where you can change how much time will pass for a day. As you can see here, 24 real minutes will be one Inzoi day is the lowest, and 24 real hours is one real day in game, which is kind of cool. You get the different options. And they also explained why it has to be implemented like that. And 24 minutes can even be brought down by the in-game speed you know, control. You can even speed it up, obviously, but if you keep it on play, it means 24 minutes, and then you can still go to 3x by playing on 3x time, which will bring down the time needed to, for example, go into a pregnancy and so on a lot more. Now, why is this important? I mean, obviously, people play the game in a completely different way, and some people are like, hey, yeah, well, why should I rush? I want to enjoy the bestest you can do now. But there are also, like, frankly, creators or other people who just want to do as much as possible and try as much as possible. I'm just talking about the 100 baby challenge, for example, and you always have to wait for like an hour or so for a day to pass. This is crazy, considering that you need to handle all of that. So I'm very happy they gave the option now to do this, and I'm thinking, you know, 24 minutes plus the option to bring it even further down with the in-game speed control is a very good solution for the lowest, and also very fun that you can play actual days. So I'm gonna see the 24-hour Twitch livestream challenges already appearing in front of my eyes. But yeah, a couple of other things we talked about where there was no real solution as of now, but I want to address them because I know that they are working on this as well, and some balancing is the pregnancy. which is fun because, we lived through a pregnancy during that time. I'd say my wife did. I wasn't pregnant, my son was born just a couple of weeks ago, but during the, time at Gamescom, that was the situation. And we talked about the fact that as of now, there was no limitation in what the female Zoe can do, or Zoe can do, sport-wise and so on. I know, doing sports during pregnancy is good and also allowed, but certain things maybe should be reconsidered, like, for example, skiing or surfing or heavy weight lifting in certain conditions. I don't want to say, humans shouldn't do that, because it is definitely a good thing also for your body and strengths. However, there are certain things that would be considered dangerous, or at least, there would be a note that you shouldn't do this. And it would be fun to have that in game. Plus, the time frame for the pregnancy was a bit of a weird one, and I guess it was because of the fact that the game was taking so long. It was like 3 in-game days, if I remember correctly, which then again I found a little bit too short. So maybe now you can have a lot longer span, let's say maybe 9 days, as for 9 months, or 10 to be correct. So 10 months equaling 10 days in game, which means that would be the cool thing, to have a full pregnancy experience, which I could see as a good thing. And Kuhn was very open to that and thinking about this. And just in general, I want to mention that we talked through a person who was translating, obviously, because my Korean is rusty. I'm just kidding, I can't speak Korean. So it's got a very nice person, very, very polite, and it was a good talk. We talked for quite some minutes, and I saw how passionate they were about this project, and I can't wait to see how that will eventually play out in this whole thing. Anyways, that shall be it from my side. You got now all the updates. I'll do more update videos as soon as we have enough to, make a video, because there's no need for making one for every single update here. But if you have any questions or so, drop them down in the comments down below, and let me know if you're as excited for the whole game, for the early access, and even if you're a diehard simmer, are you considering this game to give it a go? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to follow updates or other crazy creative game and simulation game builds and playthroughs. Thank you so much. Have a good time, and bye.